Hey guys, I'm Eric. We're sitting here with Little Beard, and we're going to be reminiscing about our little adventure to LA for the Ghostbusters Fan Fest last year. All right, guys, so Little Beard, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Man, I was just looking at it. It's so fancy and nice looking. I love your background, green screen stuff. That's cool.
This is the actual thumbnail that I used for the video when I put out our night of thing. And I'll tell you what, that was a lot of fun being able to go and get to the Globe Theater to see Ghostbusters in person in a theater, because I'll be honest with you, I was a little too young when that movie came out to go to the theater for it.
Oh, man, now I feel old because I remember seeing it in the theater.
Well, you're not that much older than me. I mean, literally, when you go back to 1984, you think, oh, you know, what's the big deal? But back in 1984, when we're all kids, that 2-3 years older or younger aspect really does create a huge difference. And it's kind of weird when you think about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's. I look back sometimes and go, there's things I missed out in the theater, like Star Wars missed out in the theater, but Empire I was there in the theater for, you know.
I remember Empire. Empire. So let's go ahead, and I want to kind of brush up, because obviously June 8th was supposed to be Ghostbusters Day.
Right.
But that got pretty much canned because of the current circumstances with the coronavirus going on right now. And, well, we don't need a whole bunch of people sick.
I know.
And crossing that spectral plane.
Well, that's where I kind of lucked out. My daughter was born on Ghostbuster Day.
Oh,
and
nice.
She's in Colorado this year to visit us, so I got to spend it with my daughter. And I suggested we all sit down and watch Ghostbusters. She didn't go for that one though. So.
Yeah, some people don't. You know, they don't get it like the rest of us. You know, us nerds and everything. So, that trip, I remember being a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Apprehensive regarding going through the mountains, because the last time I was going through Utah, for example, in Colorado, there was mountains, because I went to the dinosaur parks in Utah when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And completely different. I was blown away by how it was mountainous. You could tell in certain places. It's just the perspective was so weird. You had that planned out pretty well, I'd have to say.
Oh, what, just going through the mountains?
Yeah, I mean, it was not bad at all. It wasn't scary.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I used to live in Colorado and stuff, so I'm used to driving in mountains. I'm used to driving, doing shows and conventions on the road. I'll do 30 to 40 shows a year, so I'm always in the car. So I know even on the way back, you're like, let me drive for a while because you've been driving. And I'm just so used to getting in the car, going, drive. And then you get there, and then the adrenaline just takes over once you get to an event especially an event like that. It's rare I go to an event just to geek out, and this one I went to just to geek out, and it was pretty cool.
Oh, it was a blast.
For your viewers that had not seen it, it's the first and only time they've done a Ghostbuster event like that. Mm-hmm. And hopefully they'll do more. Of course, they didn't do one this year, but I think if the new movie does well, we're going to see some more of that. And I've been seeing a lot more Ghostbuster groups popping up and stuff too. So,
it's crazy how many are popping up. So we get to LA. We had a bit of a scare. I remember this one where it wasn't an issue of anything bad. It was just, we drove by the Globe Theater and the whole front of the building was closed off.
Well, we got there and directions were a little cloudy. Our buddy Brian Olson is the guy that got the whole thing put together for us. Mm-hmm. And so we were doing via text messages. We had our carload full of people, and then he had his carload, because I think he was there with the St. Louis Ghostbusters, the Arch.
Something like that, sure. I think so, yeah.
The group too. And so he would send us like pictures, like stock photos of the theater, which looked really good, or different things. And we get there, and the first thing we see in California is Homeless Row, where there's just tents of homeless people and stuff, and I wasn't prepared for that.
I was not either. That was a huge shock for me.
So you get there, and then the theater itself is under renovation, so it looks closed down. It looks like something out of a Ghostbuster movie, really. It just closed down with scaffolding and everything, and traffic was horrible. We couldn't figure out if that was the place. We're calling. I know I pulled over the side of the road, and you jumped out and went and talked to the workers.
Yep.
Didn't even
had
know.
No clue what was going on.
So we were really just kind of hoping and guessing.
Oh gosh, it was so ridiculous, because then we had to go to that Burger King, and we just wanted to get something to eat real quick. We found where we were staying, which was that
was a whole nother scare, because I booked the wrong place or something, or I didn't book it right or something, and we had to find another Airbnb that afternoon. Remember? So.
And we had to sit in the hot car in the hot LA sun, exhausted as could be. Couldn't even go do anything fun for a little bit, because we just wanted to crash, because it was on the road all day. But
4 hours in the car, yeah.
That Globe Theater scared us. I think that was the biggest concern, because once we found our Airbnb, the whole issue with the Globe Theater, because I got a picture that we posted that we were kind of like, what's going on? Because nobody was doing anything. There was no information. Even the Wizard World website had a stock photo, like you're saying, for the Globe Theater. So we're all just like, what is really going on here? Are we getting scammed? Did we waste our time coming out here? Did it get canceled? We just didn't know.
And with it being the first time they'd done something like this, and none of us were the direct person to contact, and most other Ghostbuster fans that were going that I talked to, they didn't know. Yep. So everything was so up in the air. So yeah, we definitely, and nothing bad on the event, just the first time they'd done something like that. Originally, we kept getting updates that, it was like 2 conventions and it was one big convention. And so we just didn't know what was going on. So at that point, with the rooms and the drive and everything, I know we were feeling pretty
craptastic.
Yeah, I do know the moment it turned around for me, though, and it wasn't even pulling up to the theater and seeing the Ectomobile out front or any of that. It was seeing that big long line of people, and we were like, oh, now we got to wait in this huge line of all these Ghostbusters. And then standing up front, and I text Brian to let us know we're there, and they come up and they go, oh, they're with us, and we get to cut through the whole line and walk through. And at that moment, it was like, yeah, we're cool.
Yeah. It's like, don't worry, folks. We're special. It's okay. I'm with the media. It's all good. Yeah, right.
You're seeing the rows of proton packs when you get in, and the big, I'm sure you got pictures of the big logos on the wall and everything. And then you really feel like you walked from, 100 feet outside were homeless people and scaffolding and everything else. And you walked inside, and it was a gorgeous theater with just, I would
some of the seating kind of sucked, though. We had the worst possible place to sit.
Yeah, we were rearranging furniture and stuff.
Yeah, where we were seated, it sucked. If you go back and look at the old video from when I was recording some content, you can literally see that we were behind the speakers and some stage work and everything, and we had I was sitting like this half the time trying to see through this little space right there, so most of the screen's cut off for me, but it was crazy. But I think the highlight for me that day was actually just getting the chance to get right up on that stage practically and get photos of everybody. And
practically, you got on the stage. You were like,
that was after the fact, yeah.
Because it was one of those things. I was a little tired that day and stuff, and even I was like, he's got some balls. He just jumped right on stage, right where Dan Aykroyd was standing, and just started getting the audience to do stuff and taking pictures. And that was pretty cool.
It's one of those things where, you just kind of go for it and hope for the best. What's the worst they're going to do? Throw you in the jail with all the other people in LA? Okay. In hindsight, that's kind of bad. But at the time, as long as I was harmless. But I think my favorite moment was that picture I got that just was mind blowing because literally Dan Aykroyd, I'm taking the picture and he just stops and poses right there for the camera. And I'm sitting there going like, holy crap, nobody's going to believe this. Thankfully, I got a photo.
That day, and that's the whole reason I threw this shirt on too. Is I wore this shirt that night.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, a lot of people were looking at you going, wrong shirt, or whatever, goofing around with you. People were real nice, but I got that half a second of Dan Aykroyd, and I don't know if it was directly at me, but I'm assuming it was. Where he just turns and goes like that, and I was like, oh, that was the coolest thing until the next day when we got to talk to him. But
that little fanboy moment, it's so great.
There's plenty of fanboy moments that weekend, I think.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel kind of I feel like I missed out on it, but it's just one of those things that we all get our own opportunities. You guys coming up to me, guess who we got to see? And I'm like, well, there's a lot of celebrities here. Who? And you're showing me pictures of how you guys got to pose with Dave Coulier. And I'm like, yeah, you sons of.
Well, my brother Mike wanted to meet two people there. And one was Dave Coulier, the other one was Dan Aykroyd. And both those you got to meet. Mm-hmm. And it was first thing in the morning as we're going around. And for many people who don't know it, Sony Picture Studios, Dan Aykroyd has an office right there. And it's in a reproduction of the Hook and Ladder building from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And just in front of that is the original Ecto-1 and the new Ectomobile from the 2016 movie. I mean, they're right there.
Yep.
You can go sit on the hood of the car. It's pretty cool. And so we're there admiring the cars, taking pictures. And I'm on the spot. My mind's going like Dave Coulier and Brain from Pinky and the Brain.
Maurice LaMarche.
That's it. They both come walking out. And so we both start geeking out. And I didn't even have to go up to him because he just looks at us and we were dressed as Pirate Ghostbusters. And Dave Coulier goes, Pirate Ghostbusters, that's cool, man. And we're like, my brother would love to take a picture. Yeah, I want to get a picture with you guys. Bring it in. And, oh, man, he was all about it. And that was really cool. But, nobody I was with knew who Maurice LaMarche was, so I felt a little too geeky going over and trying to get pictures with him then, too. So.
If I would have been paying attention, that would have been a blast to get it. Because Pinky and the Brain, he's the brain. He's Egon, for those who don't know. So I'm sure people are going like, who is that? Oh. But, yeah, that would have been I remember I took a picture. I was like, I think I know who this is. But I got Ivan Reitman's son, a couple pictures of him just walking about. And I wasn't even paying attention until I realized, oh, crap, I know who that is. So
that was the great thing about it is celebrities were just everywhere.
They were meandering.
Meandering. And some of the celebrities, because they kind of mixed Wizard World in with the Ghostbuster Con. Mm-hmm. So you had a row of people like Lou Ferrigno, the original Michelangelo from the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie was there. We talked to him for a while. I think you may have met him. The
guy who was the stunt man, I believe it was, actually, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah, they had the original April O'Neil from the cartoons. They had Cam Clark, Teddy Sears. He was the Professor Zoom from the Flash series. Got an interview with him. Oh, darn it, I can't think of his name. Tim Lawrence, which he passed away earlier this year. I hate to say it, but at the same time, it's a bit of a bragging right. I actually have his last known interview.
Oh, really?
The interview from then was his last interview.
Of course, they had all sorts of celebrities from Ghostbusters. People who created the Marshmallow Man, Slimer. I got to meet the original voice of Kaneda from Akira, which I loved.
Cam Clark.
I felt really bad that I broke it to him that they had redubbed it. I guess he didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt bad about that, but that was cool. And but I got both his personal info and April's, and that was because everybody was very talkative. I mean, they were there for the fans and they were sharing stuff. So you'd be standing right there, and Jason Reitman would be walking by.
Jason Reitman, there we go. I was trying to think of his name. I knew it had a J in there. I was like, no, it's not Jonathan Reitman. What the heck was it? Crap.
Well, and I felt kind of bad because Paul Feig was there, and a number of times you could really feel the tension with a lot of the Ghostbuster fans. A number of them loved him. Some of them did not care for him. But he would be walking. I mean, I stood right next to him probably 5 times the whole weekend.
Oh yeah, I think we bumped into him at least 3 times as a group.
And I felt bad. I should have asked for an autograph or something, but I had nothing against the movie necessarily. I just wasn't a big fan of it. There were some issues I had, but so he would stand there, and a number of people just would walk right by him like he was nobody. But then some guy would have a big Slimer puppet right behind him. Boy, they were right to that Slimer puppet, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird.
The one thing I have to say with that event, it just was kind of weirdly set. I like, again, like you said, it was the first one they ever did, and hopefully they do more, but it was so disarray, I think is the word I'm looking for. There wasn't really any vendors. There was a handful, but not a lot. And I remember us running into the IDW comic writer and artist. We ran into the old, the original Real Ghostbusters cartoon comic book artist.
Yeah, we got interviews with them.
Your interview I haven't gotten up yet because I was wanting to do add the Concast stuff to that. Put you on the spot.
Put me on the spot. No pressure.
No pressure. It's not like you have anything going on and you can't go anywhere or something, you know?
Fair enough. Quarantine's been good to me. I should be working on more podcast stuff. I'm just, I'm really enjoying working on just things and life and getting, I've been on the road for literally 20 years doing shows. In 20 years, I have not been home this long, ever.
Sitting on your hands. It's crazy. I know.
I'm getting stuff done. It's great. And I mean, I'm still running a couple online conventions and stuff, but, I'm looking over here because I even went and got more Ghostbuster gear that I couldn't before because I had like a homemade pack and stuff. And I've been buying, they released a whole bunch of new toys when I got some of that stuff, the new trap, the new PK.
I've seen the action figures I was at Walmart a couple days ago. I got the new Rubies. Well, not new because it's been out for a couple years now. The Rubies Ghost Trap and PKE meter finally, and I saw the only one I didn't see I think was Egon, and I saw it's all the original Kenner style figures, and it's just like, oh God, it was a childhood rush seeing all those again. It was crazy.
Yeah, I managed to get the gear. I was waiting for our local Walmart to pick up the action figures, and a buddy of mine who's a fellow fan texted me, and he goes, hey, the figures are in. I'm like, great, I'll head right out there. And he goes, I bought all of them. And he sent me a picture of a box. He bought everything. They never ordered new ones. So by the time I made it to the next city over, which is Wichita, I couldn't find any anywhere. So I got none of the figures. But
and they're $15 a pop. So the aftermarket on those is going to be horrible.
Yeah, if I get the Stay Puff, I'll be fine. I got a little thing for Stay Puff figures, so I think that'll be good.
The thing I think is funny, which kind of sucks as a collector, if you actually enjoy
I just want to bring up.
What?
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry, we had the delay there for a second.
Oh, one thing that kind of frustrates me a little bit as a collector. Collecting for the sake of childhood stuff is one thing, but also at the same time you like a little bit of knowledge in that there's a monetary value involved with your purchases, especially if you spend money on it. Or in my case, for the Slimer that I have, I didn't spend any money on it. I found it at a yard sale and bought it for like $0.25. So technically, right. Yes, I did pay something for it, but for $0.25, that's nothing. And you see re-releases like this that are practically one-for-one kind of re-releases of the originals. You kind of feel like somebody just punched you in the gut, taking away all the financial potential in that. Because I'm waiting for the Real Ghostbusters Proton Pack, which right there.
Yep.
Got that at Smallville last year. As you remember.
Yeah, I was a little
look
jealous
on your face when I walked up with it.
Yeah, I wanted to go over there and get that ectomobile too. That was because at that time I was trying to build an actual ectomobile.
Ooh.
And the sale fell through on the ambulance we were trying to get. But I've got the sirens and the rack and everything sitting in my backyard. So,
chance is still there. You never know.
The chance is still there. It's just the main object, the car, is gone. So I've lost a little motivation.
But this proton pack and the ghost trap, I was able to get for, I think I just said $40 total or 60. I don't remember which one. Mostly because they're both broken. You know, let's not call it broken. Let's call it well played with. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those kind of things where if they re-release them, they're probably going to be around the same price as what they used to be, which is about $20, $30. And you feel kind of gypped on that. So I love seeing this stuff out again, because if you didn't get to enjoy them the first time around, any monetary investments, like if you did aftermarket purchases of the original toys a few years ago and spent way too much on them, you kind of ended up getting screwed out of it. That's one of the bad things about these re-releases.
And Transformers has done that to the walls, you know. So, but they're always good about making sure you can tell the originals from the remakes, and the originals it's always, you can always go, I got an original, which is.
Well, that's where Hasbro, I think, owns Kenner now, or is it Mattel?
I don't know.
I think it's Mattel. Mattel owns Kenner now. That was one of the biggest problems. No, it's Hasbro. That's right, because G.I. Joe and Star Wars and all that stuff. Hasbro has a problem with like the Kenner line of stuff. They're re-releasing it, that you really got to pay attention to the differences, because it's just down to the little bitty fine print copyright on those packages. But anyway, we've gotten off topic and got into the collecting aspect.
Well, then what brought that up, I think, was the idea there weren't a lot of vendors there.
Yeah.
I think there were two actual vendor booths. All the other vendor booths were sponsored vendors, where like they had a special sneaker that was a Ghostbuster sneaker.
Yeah.
They were sponsoring the whole, and the Playmobil, the new Ghostbuster Playmobiles, they were sponsoring everything. Heck, it's on the badges and everything. And then there was the big model that is now, if you're part of any Ghostbuster groups, you'll see that everybody's starting to put them together now. But the big model that was there, but everything else was, I mean, there wasn't a lot to buy. I went there expecting to buy a lot of stuff. And so then when it didn't, it's like, well, I'm going to get a Dan Aykroyd autograph. And it's like, nope, you had to sign up for that way in advance.
Yeah, when you bought the shoes, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, something like that. So we were lucky to even get a picture with him at the time without having bought something. So that, just because he was in such high demand.
Yeah.
But it was it wasn't so much like a convention as it was a celebrity meet and greet in a way. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because we didn't know what to expect. I know we walked in, and the first thing you see is, I can't remember which Ghostbuster group it was. They had a huge wall of just 5 or 6 different Ghostbuster vehicles from one group, and they had like I don't know if it was a mariachi band playing Ghostbuster music or something.
Yep, I remember that.
It really made you feel like you were going into something super special. And then it was just through the streets of Sony Picture Studios, which made it really cool, but it was also, the panels were kind of hidden off to the side in theaters and stuff. So we didn't get to as many of those.
I don't think I got to see any. The only panels I saw was when the cast was up on the stage towards the end of the actual event, when they were basically plugging the whole, here's the movie, we're going to talk about it a little bit, and then, oh, hey, we're working on the next third movie. That was the only one I really got to see, and it was, I feel like I missed out on a lot of other good panels that probably took place in, like you said, those little theater areas off to the side. And I feel it just, you didn't know when they were. I mean, the booklet we got was hard to really, it was a lot of promotional material and not enough information, if you will.
It was very commercial. I think they had to get a lot of promotion even to make it happen, because I know Dan Aykroyd had been trying to make it happen for years.
Yeah.
And the announcement of this new movie was the only thing that really brought it all together. But hell, even that booklet though, look online, those booklets are going $40-$60 a pop.
Are you talking the promotional guide, or are you talking about the build your own model kit book?
The program guide.
Okay. Which I got 2 of those.
Had one around. Yeah, I had a couple. Oh, and here, well, I'm so disorganized up here, but here's the badge I was talking about.
Yep.
With the Playmobil, and those have been going for stuff I wasn't really planning on going for a price, but it's not that I'm going to get rid of mine, but I was really surprised with how much that stuff's going. I know when we were there, we got the posters for the model kit.
Yep.
And I've been trading those because we just got a stack of them. And I've been trading those around to different collectors for badges and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of cool. So even though there wasn't a lot of bending stuff there, people were still selling patches back and forth and that kind of stuff, collectible items. That was pretty cool.
I think one of the biggest problems was with this event, they really didn't try to focus on actual vendors. This is where I will have a critique, is that, like we said, the vendors, lack of. I think if they would have been smart about the number of vendors and actually try to get as many in there, especially toy vendors, and kind of try to push them, hey, if you got Ghostbusters stuff, try to sell that. Maybe even some trade stuff, like, the companies like Hasbro, Mattel, anybody, whoever's got the licensing, Lego, all that stuff, to get in there and sell this merch. I think the cost of the tickets would have been a little bit better. But at the same time, in hindsight, when I know everybody was complaining about the exuberant price on the tickets for admission, when you go back and think about it, it's a gauge. It's a way to gauge the interest in another film with the original cast and with the new stuff, which I think we've heard about the backlash from, fans who've seen the new trailer because they've shown all the kids and Paul Rudd, and we're not seeing, at least I haven't in any new trailers, because I haven't seen any new trailers yet. We haven't seen Dan Aykroyd in it yet. We haven't seen Bill
Murray
we haven't seen anybody yet.
Because Annie Potts signed on for it. She even did a video interview at the thing. And that concerns me a bit, and I think they're saving that. And I don't think they're going to be playing major roles. I think we're going to get cameo roles, or they're going to come in for some kind of third act, tie it together thing, which is a little disappointing. It does look like it's paying a lot of homage to the original, which I like. And hell, the 2016 movie paid a lot of homage to the original, and I liked that. I think the biggest problem I had with the 2016 movie is that they had great actresses playing it, great comedians, and if they would have left it at that would have been good. But they kind of put a political message behind it, which really just caused a lot of controversy. And if they would just tried to keep the message out, that and the fact that they didn't bust any ghosts. I mean, they're the Ghostbusters. They didn't bust any ghosts. They just,
to kind of deviate into that avenue, to critique the 2016 Ghostbusters film. The political message, I appreciate having one in there. That's fine. It's just that it was done wrong, in the sense that none of the women, because I've seen this as a very constructive criticism of the female characters, they weren't good characters. Honestly, they were two-dimensional. They were stereotypes. And for a film that was supposed to be carrying a political message, these characters needed to be more than just some kind of stereotype. They needed to actually have substance. And there was very little chemistry amongst all four of them. Some of them you could feel like, I can't think of her name, the one who was the Egon, so to speak, of the film, the engineer.
From Saturday Night Live, I can't think of her name now.
Yeah, and she's going to be in I think she's in the next Wonder Woman film as Cheetah.
No, that's damn it, my mind's from that's a different girl.
Yeah, my mind's blown too. Anyway, her character felt like she felt like she carried it more, even though she didn't really have a huge piece. And the token black woman, and I know that sounds really horrible to say, especially in the current political world we're in right now. She was literally, and that's where I'm going with here in the stereotypes, she was the token black woman playing a very, very New York stereotype black person. And that irritated me. And I am as white as sour cream. And if it irritated me, I could just imagine, somebody who actually goes in there wanting to see a proper person of color being represented. So
she's the one that's the most upset that they're not included into the new movie too, and which has been, I wouldn't even be against them including them somehow. The problem is when Paul Feig, Dang it, I couldn't think of Paul Feig. When he did that, he intentionally said, "This is a different universe. This is a different world. It is not the original Ghostbusters world." So he made that separation. So there's no good way for them to bring in without some kind of like interdimensional travel.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. It felt like somebody picked a fight and then it became a fight.
Well, I'm almost wondering if Paul Feig had some kind of intention of having it part of the universe, because you remember the original marketing. They actually made it was confusing and made it sound like it was part of the original franchise, and that all the cameos were, rumors were abound that all the cameos were going to be basically the Ghostbusters had to adopt a new life because, the government tried to shut it down and, make it all like it was just swamp gas and biological weapons and fakery, because the world cannot know that ghosts are real. Ooh, the religious implications. And then I think it didn't help. It was the president. I can't remember what her position was at Sony at the time, wanted to push more of the message than the actual film, and I think created this whole distancing, if you will, from the original concept to what it ended up being. But like I said, that's all pure rumor, and honestly, I don't think we're ever going to get a straight answer on it, even though for the most part we have gotten our straight answer. The film is what it is, and it's pretty much, I think at that point, always was that too, so it doesn't really matter.
I would love it if they'd all just kind of get along and play nice. It would be awesome. That way we didn't have this, I don't want to say like black mark, like Star Wars fans, they always, bitched about the prequels or whatever, and I hate that Ghostbuster fans are just always going to bitch about the 2016 and it's going to have the fans divided. But in fairness, we had that before where people would bitch about the sequel. The second one was never as good as the first one.
No, the sequel was only playing in on the kiddie show. It's not the same thing. I'm sorry, but I remember going back, and I've even watched some of the first 3-4 seasons of the real Ghostbusters cartoons, and they had some stuff. They were on some stuff back then for some episodes, and you're sitting here going like, this is a children's cartoon, and they really pushed the envelope for what they could do. Like, remember the Boogeyman episode?
I remember the Boogeyman, but I don't remember the episode.
You come to find out that the reason why Egon became a Ghostbuster was because the big old headed Boogeyman tormented him as a child. That was a favorite of mine because it kind of gave a great backstory. Plus the tie-ins. There was the episode where I think it was the first few episodes of the first season where they had a reporter meet up with Peter, and he kind of flubbed the whole disposing of the jumpsuits, which explained why they went to multicolored. And it was kind of a deeper episode, helped reconnect everything. And then the episode where they went to Hollywood as consultants on the official Ghostbusters movie that was being released in theaters, and there was actually literally a clip of the film on the screen where they're saying like, he doesn't sound anything like me, I don't look like that, stuff like that. I mean, they really pushed the envelope of what they could get away with, and that's just some of the lighter stuff. But
the comic book got a little dark too, the real Ghostbusters comic.
Yeah, that one really pushed the envelope because of the fact that it was a comic book and it wasn't on television. Less parents paid attention. They wouldn't by chance walk into the living room and see some ghastly thing happening, whereas a comic book, the kid could easily like, no, nothing's happening here, Mom.
And that's one thing I did like about Fan Fest is that they did include that 2016 movie, definitely. And I'll say all the cast and the directors, I know Paul Feig and Dan Aykroyd had a bit of a feud going. Everybody played real nice on stage. They included all the real Ghostbuster stuff with the comic books and the animation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they did bring every part of the fandom in. Even Dan Aykroyd was doing panel on just ghost hunting. You know, it had nothing to do with Ghostbusters, but like the stuff his grandpa used to do and the stuff he's done. So it was nice that they brought everything together, and people like us, you know, we were pirate Ghostbusters. They invited us. They're like, we want you guys there. There's Randy Macho Man Savage Ghostbuster,
I remember that one. That was fun.
a Stay Puft Ghostbuster, a girl dressed up as Stay Puft Marshmallow Man as a Ghostbuster, Princess Leia Ghostbuster. All that stuff was welcome. I really liked that. I would have liked to see more on, I don't know, some vendors or panels on people making their own packs. Because like I went up there with a friend's pack that he'd given me, that he made, and then you get up there and people have packs that literally look better than the ones in the movies.
Yeah.
And you push a button and smoke will come out. You push another button, it all lights up. Push another button, it plays the Ghostbuster theme song. And these packs, some of them cost $3,000, you know. And, I would like a little more info without having to just sit there and watch YouTube videos, but be able to ask questions. How'd you build that? How'd you, maybe more info on where to get some of the 3D print designs for that kind of stuff.
There's the guys down in Kansas City, the Midland Empire Ghostbusters. They do a lot of their own pack building as well. I know a couple of them have taken the Ruby's Ghost Pack, Proton Pack, and modified it to be more movie accurate. But a couple of them, I believe, do a lot of their own work on them, and they're really impressive packs. They're kind of heavy too. You can actually hop on eBay and get kits for your Ruby pack that people have like printed up on 3D printers and stuff, and you can add it to and I do extra soundboards and stuff like that, which I think is pretty cool. But for most of the stuff I do, like the Ruby stuff, and I know some people will criticize it, it's great stuff. It really is. If this stuff existed when we were kids.
Oh man, I remember trying to make my own pack, and at that point you're just like glue part of a vacuum on it, whatever you can do. Now you got to make
Things thing that they did that. Yeah.
And but yeah, go and getting that ghost trap and stuff. $20 for a ghost trap, and it would cost me that much in materials just to make the thing look that accurate. I'd rather buy that
more.
Yeah, because we were looking at making some of the from Ghostbusters Extreme ones, the round traps for the pirate stuff, because we wanted that, but make it look like a ship's porthole on the top. We thought it looked really cool. And it's a lot of work. Cosplay can be a lot of work, and this is one that I'm really in it for the fandom, just to goof and have a good time. I mean, it still gets pricey, but it's anybody who's looking into doing Ghostbuster stuff, just go to Walmart, buy their packs. You can get that. It's the Ruby pack for as cheap as between 40 and 60 usually.
The one that I got, I found on eBay for 45 plus $3 or so in taxes, and with Amazon Prime it was free shipping. So yeah, about 40 to 60 bucks.
Like $18. The ghost trap's like $20. It's all pretty reasonable. And then you can get a jumpsuit secondhands where I got mine, secondhand store. And then of course with doing the pirate stuff, we just made all our own gear for that. And then we put our own patches on. Heck, making your own patches is about the biggest cost anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Which I guess if you look right behind Eric's head to the right there, that's the patch for our pirate group. And somewhere in here, I got our other patch.
I want to talk real quick so this way it pops up on, because my thing pops back and forth like a professional show.
Like a real show.
So yeah, that is a cool patch. Now show the one that you have again.
So this is our other patch. And the great thing about being in these groups
that is cool.
Is the patches. So Steven, the guy that runs our group, designed that one, and then I designed this one. But we get patches made, and everybody does. When I was up there at Fan Fest, I was just taking pictures of everybody's patches. And then I've got a display over here with tons of patches. Even Dan Aykroyd in his office has one with just a couple hundred patches probably. But people make their own, and then they trade them all the time. It's like I just traded for these two this week. So they're sitting there, and that's a Motown Ghost.
I like those. They have a Blues Brother thing going with them. That's great.
They've got a great page. They play blues music throughout the week. They're a very uplifting group, and it's all fun and games, you know. But yeah, if you're thinking about getting into it and can design a logo and a patch, it's almost like a business card. Everybody just trades around in this stuff. And at Fan Fest, they were everywhere. I tried to pick up as many as I could, but people had some pretty cool patches.
I got a couple of the little pins, which made me really happy. Those are actually on my lanyard, but I didn't put it through the lanyard because I was like, I don't want to ruin it. So I kind of have it sitting where it's over the lanyard. So, I mean, yeah, everybody's just handing these things out at these events and everything. It's really cool. I have to say the fandom for Ghostbusters, yes, there is always going to be those who are just going to say stupid stuff. You know, they're going to try to ruin it for everybody, because, you know, they cherish their childhood, you know, rose-tinted memories more than they do actual, you know, involvement and inclusion.
I see what you're saying.
The Ghostbusters world is so huge. Even the Filmation Ghostbusters was at the event a little bit. I do recall seeing at least one or two people kind of embracing that aspect of it. And of course, considering the fact that those Ghostbusters were technically first because of the old black and white Saturday morning live action show.
Even though Dan Aykroyd hates them.
Yeah. He does not like them, but at the same time, we like it. I remember that show. I loved Go Ghostbusters. Go.
I think it was just the idea that they tried to cash in so hard on everything.
Well, like I said, the cartoon, the live action series came out in the 70s, and Filmation still had the rights because it was their show. And if we go back and look at the history on the use of the word Ghostbusters, Columbia Pictures was a little shady on the terminology, and it didn't make much money. And then here comes the cartoon, and Filmation caught wind of that and said, boom, we got a cartoon first. It's Ghostbusters. It's ugly, but you know what? There's enough love going around.
Yeah.
So LA, after we got around the whole issue of getting to Globe Theater, figuring out what's happening there, getting to the event, that was kind of interesting, trying to figure out where do we go, how do we get in, are we supposed to be at this gate, are we supposed to be at that gate? Once we're in, you know, it was a lot of fun. It was a great experience. I always, every time I get a chance, I want to thank you for at least, you know, taking me along, as much as of an annoying butt I can be sometimes, and talking over you and stuff.
All of us in cars for 24 hours at a time become annoying butts. Trust me, I'm there all the time.
Yeah, it's crazy to be stuck in a small, because the car, I felt bad because I had an SUV that I took to get there, and I was thinking, like, I saw you pull up in that Monte Carlo, I think it was, and I was thinking, I got an SUV. Why don't we take that instead? But we couldn't because the Monte Carlo was one of those hybrid electrics and way more
the car
efficient.
I rented, yeah, that's what it was.
What?
The car I rented. Sorry, I was thinking because my brother had a Monte Carlo.
Yeah, so I couldn't remember. I thought the car that you rented was a Monte Carlo, but I'm not quite sure. I just know it was a hybrid electric, and
it was smaller than I had expected when I rented it.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Of course,
which made it tight.
The return trip felt a little tighter for some reason.
We had more shit. That whole show, I mean, 18 minutes close to us not even going to that show. Brian had set it up. They invited us out, and you know, I can't even remember what tickets were, like $150, anywhere from 150 up to 700. I think that's what it was. And we got, you know, backstage kind of stuff on some of it, and couldn't turn that down. And so Brian got a hold of us. We didn't have a lot of people in our Ghostbuster group, but we were going to carpool up with some different people. Steven, that runs our group, couldn't go. And I knew I was taking my brother with because he's part of it all. But yeah, last minute, that's how you got involved. I put out a word, anybody wanted to go. And then Kate Shady, she was in Arizona, said she'd meet us there. So it was really nice to have a presence, even though only like 3 of our actual members were even there. And
yeah.
You know, so it was it was kind of tough at the time. So it was nice to have everybody along and still have other Ghostbuster fans looking at you and going, yeah, that's cool.
That was the weirdest sensation, is having people pull you off to the side. And I knew the basics of what the characters were supposed to be that we were representing and all that stuff, and not being an official member at that time, basically being an honorary member. I sold it. I told people about what the concept was, what it was an amalgamation of, what it was supposed to represent, because, pirates and ghosts, that's kind of common, right? Swashbusters, they had to exist to beat the ghosts on the high seas. And people just sat there and were like, I get it. Yeah. But outside of the event itself, we also got to see the walk of, I call it the walk of shame, but it's the walk of fame. I tell you what, that I did not realize how much of a tourist trap that whole strip was.
And unfortunately, a lot of Los Angeles has become that way, it seems like.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scammers out there, and there's stuff out there I wouldn't mind doing. Like Tim Burton's got that cool restaurant there, and which we did eat at a cool place. That burger place was pretty good.
That was actually surprisingly good, honestly. And it wasn't that bad. The price the price range I was surprised by.
Right. But then like Man's Chinese Theater and stuff, it's one of those things that's cool to see once, but once you've seen it, it's I don't know. And it's going to sound big-headed. I don't mean it to, but some of the people, like, you go up there and see the handprints, and seeing somebody like Charlie Chaplin, that's cool,
Yeah.
Then you see all these other people. It's like, oh, I met him at con. I met him at con. You actually met these people, so it's like seeing their handprint doesn't mean much.
Yeah.
Where they're star, but I did. We both did it. We got pictures of just tons of stars along the Walk of Fame, and it was kind of cool. I hadn't put it up, but my brother Mike was with us, and he stopped and took pictures of a number of them. And when I was looking through pictures of him a couple months ago, I found the same pictures that when he was 12 years old, we were up there. He stopped at the same stars, took the same pictures. So there'd be like Michael Jackson, William Shatner, all that. And it just shows that people don't change much, that over years you stop, hit those same celebrities you like. It was kind of cool. So,
but there's some names that are on the Walk of Fame that you sit there and go like, okay, I can understand why this one's on there, but why that one? It's kind of annoying.
I think they pay. I think it's you fill out an application, you pay so much, and you get on. I think that's how it works anymore. So
that's how it is.
Because there's people like, I think, God, I can't remember. I think Carrie Fisher might have been one that didn't get on there till recently.
Yep.
There's a couple like that. So there's a lot of people you go, they should be on there. Why aren't they?
And then, like I said, there's ones that you're going like, no.
Yeah.
Has no business being there. We won't mention names.
But the Walk of Fame was cool. The room we stayed at was cool. You could come out the balcony there and you could see the Hollywood sign right up on the hill. A little bit up there, but it was up there.
I wish we could have got to see it. I wish we could have gotten to go up there and actually physically been closer to it. But it was a ways away, and we didn't have time to go up to the sign, so it is what it is.
Yeah, that was the thing. The whole event was only a day and a half. You get there Friday night, you watch the movie, and which was pretty cool in a room full of Ghostbusters and people talking to the screen, and Dan Aykroyd introduces it, and Ernie Hudson and Ivan Reitman and Jason Reitman all come out on stage, and but that was just an evening thing. The whole thing probably took 3 hours, and then the next day you had the event, and it was done with by I think 6 or so, maybe.
Yeah, give or take.
Then it was done. It was just over. It seemed very quick. Like I'm used to going to con, and it's 2 to 3 days, sometimes 4 days long, and this just seemed to go real quick. I do know I was really tired by the end of Saturday, but
oh yeah.
I mean, I was ready to go. I missed a good chunk of Ray Parker Jr. singing Ghostbusters, but I was okay with that.
There was some interesting moments that I do recall from it that never made it to video. I have in a folder on my desktop, on my hard drive, actually, external hard drive, that will probably never see the light of day as far as an actual proper release, simply because there was the gal who was in Wild Wild West. I don't remember her name. We were talking about her on the way out there, and
the girl that was the bad girl.
yeah, the villainess.
Yep.
She was all over the place and kind of wired. So it's like, yeah, I'm not going to release that just because. I mean, I was standing there recording this little show where there was music playing, so I can't play that because of obviously copyright issues. And I was sitting there recording, and she literally grabs me on the shoulder right here in front of me and starts dancing in this way. And I'm like, okay, yay. I didn't know what to do. But it was weird.
How willing a lot of the celebrities were to do interviews at that one. I think.
God, yeah. I mean, getting to meet Phil Morris, who was in the new Doom Patrol series, and also he's done Star Trek and a little bit of Babylon 5. There was Cam Clark, and I cannot remember her name off the top of my head, but the gal was April O'Neil. Like I said, Teddy Sears. We met. I wish I would have recorded it. The stunt man for Michelangelo from the original movie in costume, of all things.
Yes, because we just sat and chatted with him for a while. He was very. I did get his information.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was really cool because he had parts of the original costume there and stuff, and
which was falling apart, which I felt so bad seeing that deteriorating like that.
Oh, and I hate to get off subject. Have you seen the websites that they have up that show some of the original props of all of our childhood?
Oh God, they're freaky.
And how bad of condition some of them were all.
Well, Hogarth from, or was it Hogarth from Labyrinth?
Yeah.
Found him in a suitcase, and he just freaky.
He was in unclaimed baggage in an airport somewhere or something, and then after that came out, somebody claimed him. Yeah, some of them look real rough.
Of course, then you go back and watch the movies and realize why. Did you see the picture that I captured from the movie? I have a digital version, and it's the scene where Raphael just wakes up in the bathtub. And Leo and them are all doing a joke, and April's standing by Donnie, and Donnie's doing this number, and all you see inside the mouth is.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I'll have to share it with you later. It's you. Once you see it, you don't unsee it.
Oh, I don't want to ruin anything either.
It's like It's like Donatello swallowed a small child. And he's screaming for his life. It's pretty, so, I mean, you can see why sometimes these suits just don't last the test of time because of just the way they're built. But yeah, so we're gonna wrap up here. It was a lot of fun being able to go and take part in that event last year. I do hope they have more. Right quick, you mentioned earlier, let you do some self-promotion here real quick. You said you're doing some virtual cons this year because, like everything, it's all been canceled. 2020 has been canceled. Go ahead and tell us about some of the stuff you got going on.
So what we just did PopCon Online, which is kind of where part of River Festival, and we had another group help run it. What we're working on right now is the 27th of this month will be Anime Festival Wichita Online. We're putting together programming with that. We're going to have a number of voice actors, panelists. We'll be doing that. I'll be hosting with my buddy Frankie, who also does some of the Ghostbusters stuff, and Mikey Mason will also be hosting. If you guys know him, he's a comedy rock star. So it's going to be a good event. I'll be promoting a lot more stuff here come Monday. And events like that, we're just doing because with a lot of the events I run, you do them, you make money, you put it in the event. With these, we're just doing them to try to help our vendors make money so we can advertise our vendors, because vendors are really hurting, and what a lot of people don't realize is they are the backbone of the entire convention community. We really got to help those vendors out, and then giving back to just the fans and everything. So we're just trying to put something together, a 12-hour virtual online convention with interactive game shows and things like that. So we'll put more out. The other thing I would like to pimp just a little bit, since we're talking Ghostbusters, if you go to cons and stuff, let them know you would like to see a Ghostbuster element there. There are a lot of groups out there that have displays, including ours and stuff, and they don't always get invited for some reason, unless they've got an ectomobile. But tell them you'd like to see stuff so that the conventions will invite a lot of those groups to the convention. And that's all I got.
Give me some links. I'll make sure those are in the description for where these are at. If you already got everything situated, like Facebook pages and events. If not, just let me know and I'll get them up on the Notes and Nerds Facebook page and also on our Twitter. So again, Little Beard, which right now is more like Big Beard. I mean, holy crap.
This is my quarantine. I don't care anymore beard is what it is.
Yeah.
When you get a name like Little Beard and you get to keep a little beard forever, the one time I can grow it out, I did.
Yep. So. I don't blame you. Of course, the unfortunate thing is it shows your age.
I feel my age.
It's not Little Beard. I'm going to call you Gray Beard. It sounds more majestic that way.
I'm afraid to shave it off because I'm afraid I'm going to just look older than I remember underneath here.
Well, at least lighter because, you know, it doesn't get as much sun from right there. You're going to have like a tan and it's going to be bright right here.
Oh, God, that means I got to shave it real quick. Yeah, all the, like, Ren fairs and conventions are starting again next month. So, yep. Or supposedly, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Thank you again, Little Beard. We'll see you hopefully at upcoming cons and events whenever they decide to open up again. And everybody, stay happy. And remember, in the wise words of Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other. Hey guys, if you want to help support Notes Nerds, please go to our Patreon at patreon.com/NotesNerds, where you can give a little to get a lot back. Tiers are only starting at just $1 whole dollar. If you also want to help support us by owning some of our personal merch, please go to shop.notesnerds.com, where you can purchase anything you like t-shirts, stickers, posters, totes, and a whole lot more. Don't forget to go to all of our social medias at YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, where you can subscribe, follow, like, all that good stuff to keep up with what we're doing. Also, go to our website at www.notesnerds.com, where you can check out our blog, you can check out our calendar for convention dates coming up, where we're going to be, what we're going to be doing, and all that good stuff. So, thank you, and tune in next time.